Basically, there are two types of life insurance. We have term life insurance and we have permanent life insurance. What are the difference? The term life insurance covers you for a specific time. So you have to sit down with an insurance advisor. An insurance advisor will tell you how many years you can go for. It can be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years. The number of years which you choose entirely based on your needs as an individual. That's an individual choice you have to make. Here is what happens if you choose, say, for 10 years. You pay the premiums. When it comes to 10 years, the insurance will stop and it will lapse. So if you don't die within that 10 years, the insurance will fall off unless you decide to renew the insurance for another 10 years. In a term insurance, the premiums are not locked in. That means when you negotiate for a renewal, at that time you would be 10 years older, and probably you might have some illnesses which might have crept in as you have grown older. Based on your health and your age, the premium obviously will go up, or you decide to lapse it. So why do people go for term life insurance? People go for term life insurance, say one is 30 years old and he is married with, say, 2 young children. He needs insurance to cover for that particular period from the age 30 to age 50 until his children are grown up. Suppose at age 30, he's a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. In 20 years' time, the 2-year-old will be 22 and the 1-year-old will be 21. So he wants that if anything happens, say the inevitable death happens to him, his family will not be in financial ruins, will claim that term life. This is why people take term life for that specific period. But suppose one lives the next 20 years, you take a 20-year insurance from the age 30 to age 50, but nothing happens to you. It will lapse and you don't get anything. So you are only insuring yourself that in case something happens to you, you get something. So you can insure yourself from 30 years, 40 years, and then it will lapse. The term life insurance, what is term life insurance? The advantages. The premiums are low. You pay less for very large coverage. You can pay, say, hypothetically, $30 per month for a coverage of up to $500,000 or $1 million. And you paid for a certain specific number of years. And you have coverage for that particular number of years. That's the term. But the permanent life insurance is permanent. The only drawback is that in a permanent life insurance, the premiums are very high. So the advantages of permanent life insurance, it is permanent. If you sign it up at age 30, it doesn't lapse as long as you keep on paying the premiums until the day you die. And you build cash value in it. It is an investment component in it. Sometimes back when I briefly worked as an insurance advisor, I would just give an analogy of renting versus owning a house. Say renting, you don't build equity in it. Owning, you build equity in it. I would give that analogy, explaining the difference between the two insurances. If you want a permanent life, the premiums are high, that's a drawback. But it's permanent for life. If you want lower premiums, sign up for permanent life insurance when you are still young. So when you are still like as early as you start working, or if you start in your teens or early 20s, you have lower payments, lower premiums than if you start as you are over 30 or 40, then the premiums go up. But you lock them up in and they don't increase. And also whether you become ill or have other degenerative disease, but the whole life premiums, they don't change. Conversely, in a term life insurance, when you go back and you want to renew it, they'll always have to look into health first and your age at that particular time, and the premiums will have to be determined by those two factors. These are the advantages and disadvantages of term versus permanent insurance. So briefly, let's just say on a term life, coverage only protects you for a limited number of years, while the whole life protects you for as long as you are paying the premium. Term life is just an insurance. The whole life, it accumulates the cash component in it. You accumulate some money in it. As I said, that it is the investment. As I use that analogy of building equity in a purchased home versus in a rented home. Whole life costs 17 to 18 or even 20 times that of term life. It is the expenses sometimes that discourage people to go with the permanent life. So whether you want to go with permanent or term life, the choice is entirely an individual choice. But these are the advantages. As a young person, if one is still young, I would recommend a permanent life. But if one is older, I would recommend a term life. You don't need insurance past their 60s when kids are out of home, or 70s. This is why sometimes people do not go for permanent life. They take term life and lapse after they turn 60. So this was a short video on life insurance, term life, permanent. So subscribe to this channel.